call this meeting to order. Please stand for the pledge. Hello, my name is Lisenia Brazil. I am a event coordinator with Tasha at the high school, 29 Palms High School. Tasha is a teen-led sexual assault and harassment group. Tasha pretty much stands for Teens Against Sexual Harassment and Assault. Tasha's initiative is not only to spread awareness about sexual assault and harassment, but also to lend out support. We give out, we plan to do a drive, or her drive, to give feminine products to the homeless women. We also plan to raise money through chocolate bars and activities to get the whole school on board with Tasha. Tasha can be very intimidating for a lot of teenagers because it's such a heavy topic, but we want to bring awareness to not be ashamed of what you've been through and your trauma. We plan on giving scholarships to our members. A lot of our members are seniors this year, soon leaving us, so we want to make sure they're taken care of. We also plan to do a winter clothes drive. That's also to make sure that everyone in the city, maybe even more, gets clothes for the winter. And yeah, I would like to thank everybody for listening and considering me. Thank you.
Thank you. It sounds like a really good organization, and let the city know when you have your drives, and we were trying to lend support, okay?
Okay, thank you.
And on behalf of the city, I would like to present you with this certificate and thank you for opening up the city council meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we will have our opening prayer.
Let us pray. God of justice and mercy, thank you for the gift of life and the opportunity to serve the people of our great city of 29 Palms. Help us to act with character and conviction. Help us to listen with understanding and goodwill. Help us to speak with clarity and restraint. Give us a spirit of service. Remind us that we are stewards of your authority. Guide us to be the leaders of your people that your people need. Help us to see the humanity and dignity of those who disagree with us and to treat all people, no matter how weak or poor, with the reverence your creation deserves. And finally, Father, renew us with the strength of your presence and the joy of helping to build a community worthy of the human person. We ask this as your sons and daughters, confident in your goodness and love. Amen.
Thank you. Okay. And are we going to do the closed session agenda first?
Roll call.
Okay, roll call.
Councilmember Mintz,
Here.
Councilmember Klink,
Here.
Councilmember Bildering,
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Wright,
Here.
Mayor Ogilvy.
Here.
All present.
Okay. And we had closed session today, and the city council unanimously, we all approve, how about that? The settlement agreement with the Bureau of Land Management, BLM. The city council, council member Klink moved that the item with city council member Wright second the motion, and we were all in agreement. Okay. Now with the agenda. No? Okay. Excuse me. Okay. Announcement. These proceedings may be viewed on demand of the City of 29 Palms website, www.29palms.org. You may also live stream this meeting by going to the City Council website and clicking on the meeting agendas link. This was that was the awards, presentation, appointments, and proclamations. And we'll have the city manager.
So we're introducing new employees right now, and it is with great pleasure to introduce you to Ms. Cheyenne Ryan. Cheyenne is one of our newest members to the city family. And I say, well, this is permanent. She's a permanent employee. She was summer employee working at our day camp as a summer day camp aide. Cheyenne was born and raised in 29 Palms. She graduated from 29 Palms High School in 2016. And then she went on to earn her bachelor's degree in biology, graduating from San Diego State University in 2020. In her spare time, she likes to read, and she also likes to spend time with her friends and her family. We welcome Cheyenne and look forward to a long, successful career.
I would just like to say thank you. This opportunity means a lot to me. In a way, I feel like I'm somehow giving back to a community that's given so much to me. So I just want to say thank you for allowing me this opportunity, and also I look forward to what's to come. So thank you.
So, Madam Mayor, members of the council, it's my pleasure to introduce two new employees that we have. First will be Odessa Bigler. Odessa, there you go. And one thing we like to do is to, make it a little personal, a little bit about the employee, because I think it's good for the community, the council, to know a little bit about the person. So Odessa was born in Utah, but raised, and this is her word, as an Army brat, and she's moved all over the place. She moved to 29 Palms in 2002, where she spent her senior year at 29 Palms High School, and then went to CMC and got her AA degree. She has two children, a boy and a girl. Her girl is in fourth grade and plays soccer in the youth club and is 9 years old. And she, wrote this. Again, I just asked her a little bit about herself, and I thought this was pretty neat. She hasn't left this community because she loves the small town atmosphere and people in the community. So this is just one example of an employee that is working for your city. So thank you, Odessa, and welcome to the family team.
And thank you for the opportunity that I have now. Been all over the place, and this is one of the best opportunities I can have, is working for the city and helping out with the city. I thank you for the opportunity.
And I should have mentioned she's working in finance. She's a finance tech too, so I apologize. So next I'd like to introduce Keith Gardner. Wow. He's got a following already. Keith is, he was with the city interimly several years ago before Travis Clark. So I know a lot of the community and council is aware of Keith, but just a little bit about Keith. He grew up in Nebraska, so he's a Cornhusker. He got his bachelor's degree at the University of Nebraska. He was also a congressional intern during his college years. He got his master's degree at the University of Kansas. So then he went on to be a Jayhawk, I guess, right? When he moved to California, 1998, he took a job with Riverside County, and he was telling me a story about this, just as a little side. Again, just a funny little story, and not a funny story, but ironic, I guess, in a way. So Keith, last week here in 29 Palms, the shooting that we had in the city, Keith was in the drive-through line at Burger King when that all kind of went on. I had to call him that night to make sure he was still going to come back and still work for the city, But ironically, he said in 1998, right, the city of Riverside, when he came to California, that's when tragically there was a shooting at City Hall where the person shot the mayor and a city council member. So, yeah, these things kind of follow Keith. I mean, I don't know, but anyway, interesting story, I guess. He's a bowler. I thought he bowled a 280, but it's actually a 180. As you can see, my bowling knowledge is not very good. He's a card game and a board game nerd. Again, his words. In 2010, he participated in an AIDS life cycle where he rode a bicycle from San Francisco to LA. Very impressive. But he wants to do it again once he gets back into shape. So anyway, that's a little bit about Keith. We welcome Keith to the city family, and I'd like to say a few words.
Thanks for the tragic introduction, I guess. I'm glad to be back. I've met several of you already. Look forward to doing business with all of you, and looking forward to seeing what we can do together.
Keith will be our new community development director.
Alrighty.
I forgot to mention that Cheyenne is also at the front desk. Yeah, you guys have seen her when you come in, but she's working at the front desk for us.
Awesome. Okay. So Keith, hopefully whatever was following you stays away. Yes.
I agree with that.
Yes. Okay. Appointments, no appointments, proclamation. It's Hispanic Heritage Month. And the city of Twentynine has a proclamation recognizing Hispanic Heritage Month. Whereas the celebration of Hispanic Heritage Week, now expanded to Hispanic Heritage Month, was established in 1968 to recognize and celebrate the Hispanic heritage and culture in the United States while highlighting Hispanic economic, cultural, and creative contributions to our nation. And whereas the United States Census Bureau estimates the Hispanic population in the United States to be over 60 million people, making Hispanic Americans 19% of the population and the largest racial or ethnic minority group in the United States. And whereas there are more than 4.7 million Hispanic-owned firms in the United States, providing over 3 million jobs and contributing more than $500 billion with a B to the United States economy. Whereas the Hispanic community is active in all units of local, state, and federal government, from volunteer boards and commissions to civilian employment to elected officials, and among the more than 100 million Hispanics who have served and are currently serving in the U.S. Armed Forces. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the city of 29 Palms does hereby proclaim September 15th through October 15th, 2022 as Hispanic Heritage Month in the city of 29 Palms, California, and call upon educators, librarians, public officials, and the 29 Palm residents and businesses to observe this month with appropriate activities and programs. It is dated today, the 27th of September, and signed by the mayor. Okay. Council meetings and reports of meetings attended. We're going to start to my right.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Welcome to our new employees to the family. Look forward to working with all of you. I attended the Equality and Social Justice Element Workshop. It was not well attended, but it was attended with a lot of positive people. So we may not got the quantity, but we had quality there. So a lot of good things coming out of that one. I believe the next one's the 29th, correct? Hope to see more people there. We're not handing out food vouchers, but please show up. I'll bring you some cookies if that'll help. What else do? The car show. Car show was well attended. I know a lot of people didn't see a lot of people there, but people were coming and going, so it was a loop. 51, I think, registered vehicles, one of the biggest ones we've had in a long time, if not the biggest. So Park and Rec, awesome job in getting that going. Like always, you guys always knock it out of the park, and that is all I have, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First off, welcome Cheyenne, Odessa, and Keith. And I know Odessa's been living here a while because I was her mailman when I was delivering mail for many years over on Cahuilla. What? Huh? You guys. I also I was very happy to be one of the sponsors with my business, the car show. It was very well attended. We had a lot of people stop by the booth, and we gave away a lot of stuff. And it was cool to see the animal people there. A lot of dogs and one cat were down there for adoption. I think they had 2 of the dogs were adopted, so it was very good. I also attended this past Saturday. It's called the Family Value Award. It's an award given to a family in the Morongo Basin that shows commitment to family and community. It's given by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And this year's recipients was Dr. Robert and Mary Lombardo from Yucca Valley. Very well-deserving couple and family. Was able to meet their son, but their daughter was not able to be there. But I was my family was a recipient along with Frank and his family the same year. So it's cool to get that award, and ours is sitting on the mantle. Well, no, we don't use it for the mantle. It's in our right by our TV. So whenever we're looking at it, we're looking at the award too. So of course there's no more kids around. But anyways, that's it. School is, of course, back in session. Remember to watch out for those school buses. Make sure you stop when that red light is going and go when it's not. And just keep drinking water because it's still hot.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, welcome new employees. 2 of them left, but Keith, you're around. So that's good. I also went to the car show. Again, Park and Rec did a great job. They had, they had 51, the largest they've ever had. It was well attended, like Steve said. I had an air quality meeting on Monday in Victorville. It's a pretty routine meeting. We had to get rid of some of the rules that we had since 1978 that were obviously so outdated. And Supervisor Cook and I were sitting on the left, and of course they had to tease us about we were the only ones around in 1978 when these rules. We weren't on the board, but obviously the age-wise, we were the only ones around. So tells you how young the board's getting on the other end. So also, what I'd like to during the consent calendar, I have to abstain from 2 more. The Project Phoenix. A lot of new people in town. They've been hearing me say that. I just want to remind everybody when this started. I own no property downtown. When I married my wife, she owns a business downtown. We don't own any property. She doesn't own any property, but I still have to abstain because she gets income from downtown. So when you do hear me do that, it only has to do with her business being downtown. It has nothing to do with me owning any property downtown. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So first, I want to wish one of my kids, Jaden, happy birthday. His birthday is today, 19. I say one of my kids because I got a bunch of them. And then I went to MBTA. Well, it's not MBTA anymore. It's a Basin Transit now. So we got to get used to saying that. And you should start seeing some of the buses come out with the new wrap on it, looking different. And pretty soon the bus stops will be looking different and all that good stuff. So continue to support the transit system, use the bus system, it works. And then I also went to a LAFCO meeting. It was good. So everything went the way it's supposed to go. So that's all I can say about that one. And I also want to welcome the new employees. And that's it, man. Good.
Thank you. Okay, yes, and I would also like to echo welcome to all the new employees. You couldn't have picked a better place to come back and work. We love 29 Palms. And I also attended the Basin Transit Authority meeting with Mayor Pro Tem Wright, and I've seen some of the buses. I don't know if anyone else has had an opportunity to see one. I mean, it's really, at first I was like, what am I looking at? Oh, I know what I'm looking at now. It's the new bus. And I think they really look nice. The lizard had to grow on me, but it did, and I think it looks nice. And once all of the changes that are coming as far as aesthetically to the bus stops and everything, I think it's going to be really, really nice and good for the Morongo Basin. And the car show. I like cars, but the car show made me realize I love cars. And it was such a great turnout, and I got to pick the mayor's choice, and it was so many nice vehicles to choose from. I think the oldest one was maybe in the 1920-something. Yeah, I mean, just really, really nice cars. You can tell that most people, it's a labor of love for them. So next year, come out to the car show. It'll be really nice. And that's about it that I've done.
Madam Mayor, can I say one more thing? Just want to let the people know out in Twentynine Palms and everybody here that has not been out to the DMV, but the DMV is going to be closing October 11th to November 17th for remodeling of the office down there. So if you have to get anything done at the DMV, go out now and get it taken care of before they close the doors, and then you'll have to wait a month and a half or a month and 6 days to get in there. But you can go down below to the DMVs down there. You can do a lot of it online. All the stuff that you have to do online, you can do on dmv.ca.gov, I think, something like that. So just remember, October 11th is when it will be closing.
Thank you. Okay, so then now on to the consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendar are to be considered routine by the city council and will be enacted by one motion in the form listed. Any item may be removed from the consent calendar and considered separately by the council. The public will be given an opportunity to comment on the consent calendar items prior to the city council action. So is there anyone on the council that would like to pull any item from the consent calendar? Okay, is there anyone in the audience that would like to comment on a specific item on the consent calendar? All right, if there's none, then I'm looking for a motion.
I'll move the consent calendar and I'll abstain from item number 7 and item number 10 with pertaining to Project Phoenix.
Okay. Second. Roll call.
Councilmember Bilderrain.
Aye.
Councilmember Klink.
Aye.
Councilmember Mintz.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Wright.
Aye.
Mayor Ogilvy.
Aye.
Approved 5-0.
Okay. Next, we have a public hearing, Tourism Business Improvement District.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. The item in front of you this evening, the recommendation from staff is to hold a public hearing to adopt the resolution confirming the levy of assessments. Just by way of some background, the Parking and Business Improvement Area Law of 1989 is the law of formation that we created the TBID, the Tourism Business Improvement District. It authorizes cities to establish business improvement areas for purposes of promoting tourism. In accordance with the Parking and Business Improvement Area of the Law of 1989, city staff established the Twentynine Palms Tourism Business Improvement District, TBID, to levy and collect assessments from hotels, motels, and vacation home rentals, and any other business providing transient occupancy and subject to the city's TOT within the boundaries of the city to raise funds to promote tourism within the city. So that's the creation of the TBID and the law for that. The monies that come into the city are advised by the advisory board, a 5-member board, and I think we have two members of the board here this evening. I see Ash and Heidi. We also have our marketing director, Brianne, here this evening if the council has any questions. That advisory board recommends actions of that board. Council ultimately has the approving authority. They manage $280,000 is what is expected to come in through that 1.5% fee. It's nothing that is new. That fee has been in place since 2017 is when it first came about. It's an addition to the already established TOT that currently is at 9%. In addition to the activities of the TBID, which promotes our tourism destination, they also manage and run our visitor center for a touch point within our city. And as mentioned, this has been in place since 2017. So in this public hearing this evening, council will listen to testimony from the public, if any. This is a protest vote for renewals, so meaning it would pass and move forward unless there is 50% plus one opposition of those who pay into the tax to oppose it. Just by way of interest, just kind of was looking down through those who pay tax, through the TOT, and I was somewhat, I guess it was obvious, but when you see the percentage, it just illustrates. The VHRs as a percentage of our overall TOT now is almost 40% of our TOT. So it's now the largest block, within the TOT area. So with that concludes my staff report. And again, we have members of the TBID Advisory Board along with the Marketing Director if the council has any questions. So with that, Madam Mayor, I turn it back over to you to open the public hearing.
Okay. Do we have any questions for staff? Okay. Okay, then I'm opening it to the public hearing. Vino?
I knew, Madam Mayor, you're going to call me first.
Yes.
Just had my gut feeling. I've got some handouts. Thank you. My name is Vino, and I've highlighted the messages from our city manager in the handouts. We operate 2 hotels, a combined of 110 rooms. Last year, I brought to the council to request the TBID to order a market-specific occupancy and average daily rate. Mayor Pro Tem Wright requested that from the city manager, which he ordered, but very conveniently refused to share the information after I repeatedly requested that info. What kind of partnership are we in if our city manager does not want to be transparent with me? I talked to Councilman Dan Mintz, and he requested I attend TBID meetings and ask my questions rather than the vice chairperson listening and answering to my questions. She's more focused on timekeeping that I do not exceed my 3 minutes. When I look behind me, there's not a single person in line to talk or ask questions. What is the hurry? Are you afraid to be asked questions? This year, Labor Day weekend, was the first time in decades that none of our hotels were sold out. Our occupancy was low. With or without the TBID efforts, my hotels would still do the same business. Then why am I being taxed 1.5%? Would the vice chairperson of the TBID and the chairman be willing to share the 2021 and year-to-date occupancy and average daily rate today? The TBID board has hopelessly failed us and add no value to increase visitors to the city. I would suggest a recall of the TBID board and engage the Downtown Business Association to do the marketing for the TBID. Thank you.
Thank you. Michael Usher?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I apologize if I'm speaking a little quickly. My timer at home was was very close to 3 minutes. So my name is Mike Usher. I'm the president of Rediscover Twentynine, or the Downtown Business Association, and I own Ground Squirrel Downtown. My comments this evening are in regards to the proposed T-bid budget, and specifically several cuts impacting sponsorship of community events and special projects that can benefit local businesses and residents. Visit 29's marketing objectives and strategic goals for the upcoming year express a desire to promote the city's tourist amenities and unique travel experiences, as well as to inspire travelers to view 29 Palms as the desert getaway destination for visiting Joshua Tree National Park. Lowering the budget for community-sponsored events from $30,000 to $10,000, decreasing the special projects funds from $30,000 to $10,000, increasing internet marketing and website almost $30,000 with a strategic stated goal of funding one blogger or influencer per quarter for an undisclosed amount of money are all financial decisions that directly contradict the stated goals that they are expressing. The tourist amenities and unique travel experiences in 29 Palms are community-based and are strengthened and expanded by investing in local businesses, artisans, and artists. A decision to cut sponsorship of community events by 66% is making a conscious decision to eliminate the support and the viability of events like the Party at the Plaza, an event sponsored by Visit 29 and hosted by my organization. These events not only draw tourists into the area, but they give local makers and artisans an opportunity to set up as vendors. They give local food trucks and pop-ups the ability to share their food and grow their brand. Not only are these events critical because the vendors and food pop-ups are the brick and mortar businesses of 29 Palms' future, but these community events are exactly the kind of, quote, unique travel experiences that they seek to highlight. Increasing internet marketing and website and almost $30,000 will no doubt get increased clicks and deliver metrics on digital website visits. But these things should not be done at the expense of reinvesting in the local community so that there are things for visitors to do when they arrive. Why are we paying a quarterly influencer to come and highlight the local attractions and businesses that have influencers coming to them weekly for free? These decisions are taking money that comes from local hotels and vacation rentals, and instead of reinvesting a small portion of this money to the local economy, funding is being cut in favor of website clicks and someone unconnected to our city being paid to promote it. This is not what is best for inspiring travelers to make 29 Palms the premier desert getaway destination, and to think that it is outdated and out of touch. Through the first 3 quarters, T-bid is generating $286,000, or a 32% increase. Hotels are tracking at 25% increase. Short-term rentals are tracking at 43% increase. Short-term rentals are a very hot button issue for local residents, and with rumors that the permit cap could potentially increase to over 700, therefore generating even more than the current 43% projected growth, the idea of reducing the amount of this money that goes back is brazen and short-sighted. I ask that you adjust the budget to include a budget for community events that is larger than last year, maybe 43% larger to start, so that my organization and organizations like mine can continue to plan and execute these unique travel and tourist experiences. Thank you.
Thank you. Sarah Beck.
Hello, everybody. I'm not sure what to say after that. Thank you for that. Very educational. I'm not quite sure how to handle this. I got this letter in the mail. I own a couple of vacation rentals in the area. And, you know, this letter comes with housing market falling, with all of this, you know, with everything happening and going on, and it was a little shocking. And doing a little bit of my research, Joshua Tree's transient tax is 7.75, Yucca Valley's is 8.75, and we're already 9%. So another 1.5% on top of that. It's like, okay, if it actually comes down to this decision being made in favor of this, I want to support 29 Palms, but I'd like to see some transparency also in finding out what our budget is already going toward. So that 9% already yearly lets the advisory board, or however that comes out, what is it really going to now? What is the 1.5%, the $285,000 going to go to? So as I was reading, part of that goes toward the visitor center. I'd like to know, like, what is that? Is it $50,000 a year to run that? Is it $75,000 a year to run that? The rest of it goes to online marketing, whatever. what is that going to go to? Right now, running the vacation rentals, I do try to promote as much as possible to have the people stay in there. I give them my itinerary. I let them know what's going on. There's Live at the Rock. There's free concerts after 9 o'clock. Go to the casino. There's great food restaurants. Take a look at the murals. What is going to be so special that you're going to do to create tourism? I mean, I think to me, there's a disconnect. It's like this sort of came out of nowhere. Where's it going? So before we approve it, let's see where it's really going to go. Convince us that this is a really good thing. And I think you might have a lot of people behind you really, really well. But right now, I just don't see it yet. Thank you.
Thank you. Cindy Bernard.
Hi, everybody. I want to say I do support the idea of the 1.5% tax, but I agree with Mike. What I absolutely do not support is the gutting of the special event and sponsorship budget, which basically results in 29 Palms having a stage with absolutely nothing to put on the stage because there is no funding to put anything on the stage. So I really feel that if you are going to give $280,000 to the T-bid and they're going to then gut that budget in order to redo their website for $30,000, that perhaps the city council needs to mandate that a percentage of that $285,000 be protected and set aside for cultural and arts programming and other kinds of programming to go on the Project Phoenix stage, which remains empty most of the year. That's all. Thanks.
Thank you. Mary Jane.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I think I'm confused. The letter that I got, the way I read it, I thought tonight was going to be that you invited people here to have a discussion and to help with ideas on the T-bid money. And I'm not sensing, when I saw that it was on the calendar for City Council, I thought that the two can't work together. So I thought this was an invite to come and express opinions and talk about different ideas that people had. So that's all I've got to say right now on that.
Thank you. Chris Carr.
Did you say Chris Carr?
Chris Carr.
Chris Carr. Hello. I am Chris Carr. Chris Carr, 29 Palms VHR owner. Chris is the Chief Marketing Officer for a prominent software company in Orange County, a millennial real estate investor and avid traveler. Number one, T-Bid's question, how the city of 29 Palms continue to develop our tourism industry and create more occupancy with our lodging industry. Amend the cap of 500. This was a huge mistake. This cut off tourism growth at the roots. The annual 21-22 T-Bid report, it states millennial travelers are looking for unique and authentic experiences. Well, I'm afraid to cut it to you, but a 95-unit Hilton is not a unique and authentic experience. B, millennials are attracted to the high desert not only for the park, but because they are on social media, specifically Instagram and TikTok, and they see how the beautiful antique Airbnbs in Joshua Tree, Yucca, and Pioneer Town. That's what millennials want, and they are going to get that experience, unfortunately, in our competing markets because of 29 Palms' stance on VHRs. If 29 Palms wants a shot at competing and attracting tourism, business and lodging owners need to band together to get the cap amended to a percentage to spur development, increase permitting revenue, and enhance the availability of unique lodging opportunities to compete with Joshua Tree for the millennial tourist. Chris is a very active member of the most popular online real estate investing community, Bigger Pockets, with over 2 million members, where people connect to learn valuable tips on real estate investing, find partners, deals, and financing. Chris set up a keyword alert for 29 Palms, so he gets alerted whenever somebody mentions the city on the website. He has lost count of the number of times someone said they were considering purchasing real estate or land and development in 29 Palms, but changed their mind and decided not to because of the cap. Now those people are investing in other nearby markets, giving other municipalities their money for permitting, and again widening the gap between 29 Palms and neighboring markets. Bad move. Marketing on TikTok is not mentioned once on the T-Bid report. T-Bid is missing a huge audience by neglecting TikTok. How can we volunteer to help T-Bid? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, Council, good evening. Eileen Leslie, business owner. So I think that what Mary Jane said was really important. We have not fleshed out what we're going to do with extra money. And until we do that, then we do have our meetings out of order. We shouldn't be approving new expenditures when we don't have a focus. And I think that what she was reading from Chris Carr, talking about where we're missing the boat, that's exactly the issue. We don't know how we're funneling it in. Michael Usher makes another great point. We need to have events, and we need to have people that are actually for those events, not just money going out that are unfocused and not structured. So I think that maybe we shelve this and then have the T-Bid meeting at the end of the month, where I think that they were asking for those ideas, a little bit more brainstorming session. I think that's what Mary Jane's referring to. So I would just ask that maybe we have that meeting before this vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions from the audience? Okay, then I'm.
I'm sorry. I apologize. May I? Am I out of line? May I?
Go ahead.
So thank you. I really agree upon with what you said. I second that. One thing I meant to say too is that with the hotels and the motels and the 500 Airbnbs that we have now, we need to, the advisory board, maybe you can think about too with everybody up here, that we really need to focus on how we keep those, everything occupied here. How do we put that money toward keeping us occupied? Because a lot of us do such an amazing job, such a concierge business up here, and we're not booked. And so we have the neighboring communities with so much competition. How do we reel it in so we stay booked? If we're contributing to this money, this is coming from our businesses. How do we first keep us booked? That's one of my other thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, if I can just add something. I think what some of the folks were saying, I've been echoing for years, and I was sort of, now you can see the other people who's going to give away 1.5% and feel there's no value added. I think the council really needs to think properly moving forward, whether we vote today or postpone this vote.
Okay. Ash, you'll fill out a paper afterwards?
Yes.
Sure, you want to go to the mic?
And if I may ask beforehand, so, Ash, Heidi, and Brianne are somewhat members of the staff, so, because they're part of the advisory board. So, I think, Madam Mayor, it's, obviously your discretion, but shouldn't be time for 3 minutes because they're presenting the T-Bid budget and having those discussions. But it's to your prerogative.
You can go ahead.
Good evening, members of the council, city staff, and members of the community. As you all know, my name is Ash, and I'm one of the advisory board members. I'd like to address some of the concerns that came out today. The first concern is of transparency. Our budget is very transparent. It is on the website. It has a detailed line-to-line analysis of exactly how the money is being spent and where it is going. So we also have a very detailed marketing plan that is updated twice every year, at the beginning of the year and again in the middle of the year before the budget goes into operation. Some of the concerns were about the digital marketing, that we are putting too much finances there. There's 3.5 million digital impressions from all the digital marketing that we've been doing, and I could stand to be corrected. Brianne could give you more statistics on that. It's been 5 years since we updated our website, since the starting of it, and technology changes all the time. From our research, digital marketing is the way to go in many ways. While I do understand that the community has events and we do spend and sponsor a lot of the events, almost every event that the community has, we do put in marketing money there. For example, we just had the Night Sky Festival. We sponsored that. We sponsored the art exhibition. We even sponsored the event of the first downtown event that was here in 29 Palms. Our take this year on the budget, and I wish that many of you that are here today and have concerns about the TBID would come to our meetings, because we always encouraged people to come out there and give us their support and tell us how we can improve or what they think, like what you're doing today. These are open meetings. It's advertised on the city website. We encourage, the only person that I've continuously seen at these meetings is Vino Nethraj. Very few people do attend. And we welcome you to question us as well at these meetings, asking us these questions. Mind the market of 29 Palms and the greater Morongo Valley, that we are in the high desert, what our amenities we have in terms of tourism, and that's where we go in and put our dollars in, and we look at all of that. And you can see by the increase of the tourism taxes over the years of the last 5 years, it has increased. Yes, vacation rentals did increase, but the marketing shows as well that we are getting more people coming into this town or recognizing this town. And in terms of the expansion of this town, I don't think it's a wise move to move the TBID out. Yes, people have expressed that competition is aggressive. We've said that in our marketing plan. That was one of the reasons why we formulated the TBID, was because competition in the region was growing very quickly. And we didn't want to get lost in the process of this little town. So again, I really, really appreciate a lot of your comments, but I also ask you to visit the city website, look at our plan, look at our marketing budget, and come to our meetings. That would really help. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, we could probably go on and on.
Well, I would just like to ask I would like to point out to you, or to the council indirectly, if we have 3.5 million impressions, we are not seeing it out here. We are not full. We have lower occupancy rates. We have all lowered our prices to be filled. We're coming off a bad economy. That is a useless number. I did a poll myself on Facebook asking for which color my door should be on my new bar. I got 253 impressions. That does not guarantee that 253 people are going to walk through my front door when I open up those bright, shiny doors. So impressions mean nothing. We need realty, real action.
That's true. There's only 1,000, about 800 rooms.
Understood. And I think that the important takeaway is to go to the meetings, to attend the meetings and let your voices be heard, and whatever suggestions that you may have.
The problem with the meetings is that the city communications on meetings is so poor that it's really impossible to know when the meetings are, because I went, after the last PAC meeting, I think it was, I went looking for the next TBID meeting, and I couldn't find it anywhere on the city website. So you know, you need more than, I mean, I signed up to get the e-notices, but those e-notices only come out 3 days before the meeting. So it's actually really hard to know when the meetings are. That's one of the challenges.
Plus, if you ask them a question that they don't like to hear, they shut you off. They will interrupt you. And I did mention that when I got to the podium. The vice chairwoman, there's nobody else in line, which she also verified. I'm the only one come. 3 minutes is up, 3 minutes is up.
All right, we're good. Before we go any farther and get out of hand, the T-bid is doing something for the city, so we're not going to attack individuals. So if any attacking is going to go, just talk to us. The people who work for the T-bid, they're doing a job. They're not. I know they're appointed by us. So let's keep the attacks about the system and the process, not the individuals. So we can just keep that clear. Are you guys done so we can bring it back up here? So we get some decision making? All right? You feel...
Can I get
you get your paper? Yeah.
Afternoon, Council, Madam Mayor. I just want to add, I think the most important takeaway is that they're asking for more time, right? They're saying, let's table the vote, right? And so I think it's kind of rude to say, like, go to these meetings. I mean, I don't think that that's really what they're trying to say to people. That's all.
Yours, Madam Mayor.
What I said was not said to be rude at all. It's attend the meetings, and then your voice can be heard. So if anyone out there thought that was rude of me, that was not my intentions. Thank you.
So, Madam Mayor, just to address some of the comments that I wrote down, close the public hearing.
We're going to close the public hearing.
So it was mentioned earlier about the STAR report, and I don't know the acronym. Maybe Brianne can give me the acronym for the STAR report. It's a proprietary piece of data that the city uses. The council's probably familiar also with HDL, the source that we get for sales tax. We can't, disclose how much the Palladium is bringing in by way of example and sales tax and other businesses within the community. And we approach STR about that same thing, and we can't share that because it does have the branded properties, what their occupancy is, what their average daily rate is. So we did reach out. I know Brianne reached out the STAR report. People can subscribe to it individually, but we can't share that to give that data out. The last meeting, so the September, where are we at? September 13th meeting. That meeting, the budget was presented to the council at that meeting. That was probably a time for comments. Granted, council can do as they see fit. But last meeting, the council saw and the community saw the budget as presented last meeting. Working backwards from that, the T-bid, probably through the month of July and August, I think, worked on that budget, through that process. And I know from their stakeholders, which are because this is a voluntary fee. It's not a tax, it's a fee paid by those who pay the TOT. And I know a lot of the emails were sent out, going to the individual hotels, VHRs, asking them to attend those meetings to give their input at that time. And that was probably that opportunity in the chain of process. Just by another piece of information, so Yucca Valley on this November ballot, so a little over a month from now, they're proposed to go to a 12% TOT tax. So we're currently at a 9%. Yucca Valley is proposing to go to 12%. Again, there's no guarantee it passes, but nonetheless, it's on the November ballot. County still will be where it's at, which I think is only 7%, I believe. And then the final thing, just from the comments were made, just to clarify, this is nothing new. So this has been in place since 2017. So it has grown since then, and this is part of the renewal process. So anyway, I just wanted to give some of that information.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions from the council?
Well, the only comment I'm going to make is the fact that the website needs to be updated. Anybody that's in business or has anything to do with electronics knows that anything that was made 5 years ago, anything that's made 2 years ago, probably isn't going to be compatible with what's going on today. So it sounds, they're having to use part of their budget to update this website. It doesn't mean next year then they don't have to update it to this extent, and that some of that money would go back into the events. And that would be the time to bring that up to the T-bid when they're forming their budget. And at the time when we vote on it, we already voted on the budget. So, I mean, I realize it's, if somebody wants to find out when a meeting is and they can find that out, I mean, it's always publicized, so.
So, Madam Mayor, one other thing, if I may. You know, I attend most of the T-bid meetings, and the advisory board obviously is what advises you on the spending. But events is one of the big things that they talk about, right? I mean, I think, and it's in the staff report, I want to say the reserves are around 300,000, I think, roughly. Brianne, is that correct, in that range somewhere? So, you know, events is a big deal. So if there was a proposal of event, I don't think the T-bid board has ever said, we don't want to do events. You know, maybe they didn't put a line item within that. Last year they did 50,000, kind of looking for events. I know Brianne and I kind of met with, you know, looking at air shows, trying to get an air show into the community, because again, destinations was a big deal. And I think that continues to be, and I don't, you know, want to speak for the T-bid board, but I know, you know, Heidi and Ash are here this evening, but events were a big deal to them. So although they didn't have the individual line item there, I think it's not out of the question if there was an event that came about, they have the resources there to be able to seed. And that's what we talked about last year, is seeding an event. You know, typically it takes 3 years to get an event to, you know, be sustainable, you know. So you typically seed it for a few years, then once it's going and it's making money, then it's on its own. So that was one of the things that was discussed last year in that. So anyway, I don't want to speak for the board, just kind of relaying that, but if that is any different from what the conversations were, please, Heidi or Ash.
But could I, Brianne, could you come up? I want to ask you a question. Over the last few years, how many proposals that weren't line items, how many folks have come actually to the board and said, this is what we propose to do, we'd like to have money for? Has there been?
With regards to events?
Yes.
We receive event sponsorship proposals throughout the year.
Throughout the year. So have you rejected any of them, or just not fund them at the level that they wanted? Is that?
That is a good question. We have never turned down an event sponsorship proposal. That's for sure. I think in a lot of cases we're presented with tiered sponsorship levels. It varies pretty greatly depending on the event organization that's approaching us. We have never said no. I would say in my experience in this position, we have always gone at the highest level, supported them with the highest financial contribution that they've asked us for.
Okay, thank you.
I have another question. How would one go about being part of, on this committee?
On the advisory board?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Frank.
Yeah, so when we first formed the T-bid, we solicited applications for the appointment of the T-bid. I want to say maybe Councilmember Klink and Councilmember Bilderain were part of that first committee, and we received, you know, numerous applications. So the 2 members appointed the 5 members. Since that time, some have come and gone, and so we've solicited new applications for those positions.
So it's normally a 5
5-member advisory board.
Five member, and if you look at the makeup of the board and what lodging types they're representing, it is balanced. We have representation from all sort of aspects of lodging, vacation,
And do we have
vacation
all
home
5
rentals,
seats
small
filled?
independent properties, as well as national brand.
Are all 5 seats filled
They
currently?
are. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So then, and this is something that's done annually
This process, yes.
as far as members?
Well, it just depends when they resign, if and when they resign. So there is no, at least currently, and that's one thing that we've talked about, there is no term currently, you know, for the members.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I want to get this straight, okay? I am concerned about the community events 30% that you're taking away to do the website. You're telling me that if anybody in the community comes up with an event that they want you to help sponsor, you're still going to maybe go into the reserves to help sponsor those events?
Yeah, and just want to be clear on this, because I think the advisory board, obviously being very because that was a broad statement, right? So I think the advisory board is, would always express their financial acumen in a proposal. So if somebody came and said, hey, give me $100,000, they may not do it, right? So I just want to be clear on that. If there was something proposed, I think the consideration definitely would be there. And what we heard is in most cases they fund it, but definitely they put their that financial hat on it to make sure it makes sense.
Because I don't want to see the community events go down. We have to have them. Like they're saying, there's nothing on the stage that we should probably have a band playing there every single weekend. So it's something that maybe you guys can
TBID
look
does
into?
not disagree with that at all.
Okay.
Right? I mean, to redo a website that's now 5 years old is definitely a big project. I think the TBID board was also very set on making sure we start the year with a balanced budget. We're hoping to get that website done within the first 6 months. So generally we do a mid-year budget review. We, of course, are challenged to set a budget having only received 3 of 4 quarter results. It's noted in the marketing plan. We always reference the forecasts that come through Visit California, done by Tourism Economics. So we are looking at a small slowdown in the next couple of years. So we're mindful of that. But again, redoing the site is definitely a big spend. It's something we've been looking forward to do. We have still funds available now for people to approach us for event sponsorship proposals. And as I said, when we do a mid-year budget review and that site is done and that contract's paid for, we can, of course, revisit our budget.
So maybe I can suggest that the TBID and maybe the downtown people get together and discuss the calendar maybe ahead 6 months and and say, hey, we got bands lined up every single week. Can you help us? Kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you guys want to do that,
I think we work well together already.
I think it would be good if you guys can work together. I know that 30% sounds a lot, but the website really needs to be updated. It really does. So I'm okay with this if you're okay with really working with them to keep it,
of course,
get that stage filled.
Course.
I'd like to go down and rock and roll and country dance. Yeah.
Mr. Usher?
I just wanted to be clear real quick. My comments, which I can make available, said that, the website should not be done in spite of removing these funds, right? As I'm looking through the agenda and large discrepancies, the 30,000 to 10,000 that is being reduced was the closest thing to the website. Obviously, a website is very vital to what is happening and what needs to be done, but we need to be able to still fund these events and have things to go up on the website and have things for all of these impressions to indicate. I'm not suggesting that we should skip the website development in order for community funds. And, as Brienne said, we have worked together very, very well in the past. The Business Association, we would love to get on the calendar because we are able to execute monthly, bi-monthly, whatever we can have funding for.
I think we all have the same common goal. We're all headed the same way. So I think if we just sit down and talk with each other and actually get this, understand we have a budget, where the money goes. It's all on the website. We all got to figure out where it goes.
And also, just to note, the annual report is linked here.
Yes.
So to have a look back in terms of how we've spent our funds in this.
But I know
year.
that I'm not speaking for the council, but I'm pretty sure we all want what he wants, and we all want what you're doing. We combine them together. I think we'll work really well together. We just got to sit down and talk.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, we got to do it right here. We could have done this any other time. Probably sit down, at the Ground Squirrel and had some wings and talked about this too, right, Mike? Anytime, yeah. So I think we're on the same. We're going the same way.
Ash has.
Ash.
Just one last comment is, when you engage in events and wanting to sponsor them, we look back at our goal in the TBID marketing plan. Our goal is to bring in tourists into town and also to help the hospitality industry, whether it is restaurants or whether it is lodging facilities. Our goal is to get and great.
So can you go up here so we can record it? So yeah.
So they can hear at home.
Live stream won't be able to see it. So thank you.
So, like I was explaining you, our goal in the marketing plan is to focus on tourism and to build the economics of the town based on tourism. So when you do bring an event, we do look at it on a larger scale. How is this helping bring in more tourists in? So it doesn't mean to say that if 10 events are coming out that the community is bringing, all 10 of them will be accepted. But majority of the time, it is valid, it is viewed in that way, and we sponsor them. I, for one, on the last event that happened in town, I disagreed on sponsoring them, but 4 other advisory board members said, no, we'll go ahead because it's a community event and we just started after COVID and we wanted to bring the community together. So it depends on what the event is and what the event is going to attract. So that has to be clear as well. And I really suggest read the goals of the marketing plan and give your suggestions as well on how we can improve on this.
And so when we have a meeting of the two minds, then we should be able to come up with something.
Yes, absolutely. Attend our meetings. You're right, Ms. Mayor. That's very important to be engaged in these things. Thank you.
Just one more thing. All this
Yes.
talk of coming to our
And
meetings.
then
So
I also have one more question before you, if
Go
you
ahead.
don't mind. When do you meet? Is it a
That's
set
just
date?
what I was going to get
Oh,
to. So we
perfect.
meet on the third
Great mind.
Thursday
Madam Mayor,
of the month.
I have to step out for just 1 second, so I'll be right back before the vote.
Yes.
Okay, so the Tourism Business Improvement District meets on the third Thursday of the month. Our meetings happen here. They start at 3:30 p.m. Cindy's comment is correct. We do not publish our October meeting date as of yet. Of course, we needed to get through a public hearing to ensure we're moving forward. Our next meeting will happen on Thursday, October 20th, again at 3:30 p.m. And so you can go to the city website, you can see our meetings on the calendar, you need to subscribe to meet, to receive our meeting agendas as well.
And so, but historically, you meet at a certain day.
Third
at a certain
Thursday of
hour.
the month at 3:30
Okay,
p.m.
Which is always posted.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And we're not going to bring it back to the council for, we're gonna wait on. not
Do you, you don't get very many people to these meetings? Is maybe the time too early?
Could be part of it.
Have you ever thought of making it a little bit later for the working people?
For a couple years, our meetings used to take place at 5:30 p.m. And when we add in presenters and guest speakers, those meetings tend to run pretty late. So I think that was part of the reason of bringing the start time back.
But there wasn't much difference in attendance from 5:30 to 3:30.
Well, then maybe like 4, because most people on the base are off 3:34, I'm thinking. 4:30? All right.
Something we can consider, yes.
Okay. Because we want to be able to work this through like adults and actually have a meeting of the minds, because it is possible. As Councilmember Bill Lorraine said, it's possible. It's, we all have one common goal. So. Okay, so we are still waiting.
The awkward silence. Heidi, we'll put you on the spot to say anything.
I think Ash said what I think was important. Our decision making really is tourism, and we're trying to bring, I mean, it's awesome to support the community, but the goal is tourism.
The door shut.
He's
Yeah, I
coming.
heard a beep again, yeah.
I heard a beep.
Here he comes the other way.
Yeah. You went to the wrong door. Did you go to this one?
Okay.
No.
All right, so we are bringing it back to the council. Once again, I'm looking for a motion. Hello?
Oh, you
I'm
ready?
looking for a motion.
What's the resolution?
Take it, right?
What's the resolution? Oh, well,
Well, before we vote, we got more discussion.
Okay, that's what I want to hear.
Okay. Can we, I don't know how to say it. We'd have to change the goal mindset of the T-bid if we were to add 2 additional members, and those would be from the downtown business people. But then the goals are, like they said, is this way, but adding them takes away from that. So we'd have to change.
It's the ordinance, so we'd have to change the ordinance. And just by way of example, when we set up the T-bid, and a lot of folks in the beginning remember this, we engaged with Palm Springs. Palm Springs, you know, was our big brother, if you will, in forming this. And they have, you could do it that way, change the ordinance, adding them to them. What Palm Springs does is they have subgroups that they have. So by way of example, I think even the national park sits on maybe one of their subgroups. So is when they form their plan, they've got these subgroups that kind of flow up into the advisory board, and that's how they did it. Doesn't mean we have to do it that way. The alternative is change the ordinance to add 7 members by way of example, and maybe 2 at large.
But
so you could do it either way.
a subgroup still will have the same voting rights as.
No. So a subgroup would just advise to the advisory board. That's it, right? That's how Palm Springs does it. But the way you discussed it, you could change the ordinance by way of example, add 2 members, and they maybe be at large. So they're not a hotelier member.
So would that be something at the strategic planning in January that we bring that up to, in other words, they would go with this budget now, and then in January when we're going over everything, and hopefully more people will show up at our strategic planning so that when we come up with these things, it's you're putting your input in. But then that way we'd have time, because that's when we really talk about things for hours, and that would, if that's something we wanted to do.
Yeah. So could we do the subgroup now, this trial for the next half year, and then we go to January, we just have an idea how it works, doesn't work, and we can formulate a better plan, and then some more input from the outside source, and then T-bid could tell us like, yeah, it works, it doesn't work, or how we can work, so we can put them on the sub, so they have some valid word, and they'll be at the meetings, of course.
If that's to be the case, I would highly recommend that Mr. Usher be a part of that subgroup.
And that would be something the T-bid would just form right now. And
You
they
can just give direction to it, right? There's no ordinance you need to change.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
Then we get to that point in January.
Right.
We make a decision, then we'll.
Sure.
Yeah, so it would just be committees rolling up to the advisory board.
Sure.
And you could have, as Palm Springs talked about it, you could have like the national park on there to give input, maybe it's the casino, maybe, the downtown association.
But I have a theory that sometimes what works in Palm Springs and other places, it's not germane to here. This is a unique community in and of itself. So, but anyway, as I stated, and I may have overstepped, but I don't think I have, in having Mike Usher to be a part and someone else can volunteer.
Yeah, so the direction is from the council to, for the advisory committee to expand to committees? Okay.
That's sub until later. Yeah.
subcommittees, how many to a subcommittee? I mean,
Well,
now we're getting into.
You could prescribe it, or would you want us just to work on it,
Well, I'd say 2, because Mr. Usher's like 5 when he walks into a room, so we just need 2 people.
So you're saying 2 subcommittees,
2 members.
2 members of the
2 members of each
his
one,
committee to be able to
or
talk.
2 members, just 2 months, like
Okay.
2 at large.
And just to be clear, they're
Okay.
not voting members.
Right.
Because the ordinance kind of states
But
the 5.
they're gonna bring a certain, dynamic to the meeting that may have been missed out on.
And T-Bid, you're doing your job. You're doing a great job. We're just
Yes,
trying to figure something. So keep doing what you're doing. You guys are doing good too. So it's not a hit on y'all. Just trying to see 2 birds, 1 stone. We don't need 7 committees going on. So thank you for what you guys are doing too.
And that is the consensus of the council, right? And I just wanted nodding heads.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. No, we good. That was it.
That was it. Very good. Very good. Okay, then I'm looking for a motion.
What's the resolution? 22, 25? 25.
Okay, so I make a motion that the city adopt resolution number 2025 confirming the levy of assessments.
I'll second.
Do we have to put in those, adding the 2 on to the T-bid?
No,
Or is
I mean,
that-
you gave policy direction on it.
Okay,
That's, you know.
okay.
I did.
Okay, roll call.
Councilmember Klink,
Aye.
Councilmember Mintz,
Aye.
Councilmember Bildering,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Wright,
Aye.
Mayor Ogilvy.
Aye.
Approved 5-0.
Alrighty. Now, next we have discussion on potential action items. Anyone in the council want to add
What?
on, I'm sorry. Thank you, yes. Yes, I'm sorry.
We have to have some
There
minute-
you go.
No more tacos for her.
Well, okay,
Don't they gotta stay the whole meeting to get the voucher? You gotta stay the whole meeting to get the voucher. All right, all right.
We have to stay for the whole meeting, and we're gonna go over there and get a voucher.
there you go. All right, okay. Business Loan Improvement Program. I apologize.
Thank you, Mayor. And the Business Loan Improvement Program was introduced last year, to allocate approximately $350,000 for exterior improvements to those businesses in the downtown area. To date, we have received about $140,000 in loan applications. We're expecting a couple more applications to come in to be somewhere in the neighborhood of $200,000. To date, we have reimbursed $40,000 in costs. So we are short of the allocation that we have that we anticipated by somewhere in the neighborhood of $50,000 plus or minus. So what we're asking is, does the city council wish to expand the business loan improvement program to those areas outside the downtown area? So just as a very quick 30-second background, this is the downtown specific plan. Those areas highlighted here in blue and in orange are those with commercial properties that we invited to participate in the program. We sent out reminder letters earlier this month to remind those property owners that this program is available. Not a lot of participation from the reminder notice. So the two potential areas we could expand to is the areas north of downtown along Adobe Street or west of downtown on Highway 62. Those are the two other main areas of commercial activities. These are just suggestions from staff, and we're looking for city council direction for a future agenda item.
So, can we go both ways?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, completely up to the council and your
Yeah,
direction.
both ways.
I like both ways. Let them all have a share of it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I agree. And just as long as everybody knows, I'm not eligible for any of these funds. I don't want anybody out there thinking, expand this thing down Adobe Road, and I am not eligible for any of these funds.
And if it gets down to my end, I will not be eligible either.
Yeah.
I
Just want to clarify that.
The staff report put some geographic limits on both of these areas. Is it the city council wishes to stay within those geographic areas or just to expand it to all the commercial properties?
Yeah, all of them.
All the commercial properties.
Yeah. Everybody
Up
get
to
a share.
350,000.
Because they're not,
Yeah.
Well, I will say that in
Once we
the
run out
past,
the money, we run out the money.
yeah. I will say in the past, the council has done this, not in past councils. We've allocated money, and a lot of times we just had it left over because either they didn't want to do it or just we did it in the wrong place. So, yeah, if we open this up to everybody, I mean, just let them.
Yeah, I know there was, definitely not a mere public comment, but one of the other things too, I think they left actually, because I know there was a business owner was inquiring to me yesterday, and I said, come to the meeting to speak, and I saw him earlier, but I think he left. Anyway, the program as devised is for beauty improvements, right? You know, looking at the
Beautification.
buildings to beautify the, maybe in some cases, dilapidated buildings. There was a business owner approached me yesterday about interior. So by way of example, the maximum is 40,000 from the city participation. So it's a match. So if you put in your 40, we put in our 40, then our money we wanted for beautification, but you can use your match money to do inside. This one business owner said, well, my outside is okay, I needed to improve my inside, so I want all the money to go inside. So I said, come to the meeting tonight. I know he was here, but he must have left. I said, present that, talk about that. So I just wanted to offer that as well. That was one of the comments that the staff heard anyway. But again, public, I think, probably would like to comment on this.
Well, it definitely, if we allowed it on the inside, it'd have to be fixed, something in the inside, not tables and chairs where they can take them with them if they ever left, so stuff like that, because that's not what this is for. This is supposed to be for the buildings, to make the buildings. I mean, that's my impression when we did this thing, was for the buildings. So.
I think that would be okay for me if the outside, when we look at it, it really looks nice. It's been painted nice and kept up real nice, and they need it in for the inside for stuff that, like Danny said, is going to be permanently put into the building, not on new tables when they decide to leave, they can take it all with them.
Yeah, but they can do like painting, lighting,
Right, yeah,
electricity,
exactly,
electrical
yeah.
work, things of that nature.
Yeah.
We're talking. We're discussing it right now.
Don't expand it, I'll take it all right now for both properties. Simple. I'll see you tomorrow, Keith. 40, 80, 160.
Oh, okay. Cindy, you need some penmanship. I really didn't recognize your name.
Sorry, it's not that bad. I just was writing quickly because I had to put in three public comments. Sorry. I just want to say one thing. I actually think this program is a great idea. We got a comment when we posted the agenda to Facebook that it's really tough on renters, and I was just wondering if you guys, when you came up with the program, did any kind of survey as to how many of the businesses that we're talking about are owner-occupied versus rentals. And then this particular comment also pointed out that in their case, they needed to have air conditioning that wasn't working in their building, and that they were frustrated. There was no way to deal with that because obviously that affects the usability of the building. So just wanted to talk about that. Then this is going to be like a way right turn, but if there is money that isn't getting used, one improvement that is an exterior public improvement that I would suggest is to get a PA system for Project Phoenix. Seriously. Because it's really hard to schedule events at Project Phoenix when there is no appropriate PA system at the stage for people to use. And not everybody's a band, not everybody has a PA, and it would be great to be able to have theater and dance and poetry readings and all sorts of things there that would actually help tourism if you have a regular event. But there needs to be a PA system and lighting at Project Phoenix. So if you don't spend it all, I have a suggestion. Thanks.
Fill me out a form afterwards, please. Thank you.
I'm taking it on. If you're going to expand it, I will put in the application tomorrow, and I don't think that's fair. I don't think this should be used for the inside. The whole point is they're trying to attack people. That was a whole conversation we just had about tourism. This needs to be on the outside. Paint up some of the electrical boxes. Find something to do on the benches. I don't know so much about the PA. I know some of the lights. Even the stage. The stage is facing towards the sun. If you have a band out there, they are blinded during the day. So there's like other things, but I think that you have other money to allocate for the PA and the stage and events. I think that's different. But I am telling you, I will come in because I just completely repainted everything. You start talking about air conditioning, I'm sorry. I mean, that's an expense of having a business. And as a business owner, whether you're a renter, or you're the property owner, that's a cost of doing a business, and that's a personal analysis. I don't think that's right. I'd love to get I'm putting in new air conditioning in the bar. Tomorrow I'm meeting the guy. I don't think we should add that. That's not right. That's me as a business owner, and if I can't afford it, I shouldn't have that business. So I would just really keep it on the outside, like make the town beautiful. People drive through and they're impressed by what they see. Although we don't have a fountain or a fountain pad, which I baked Frank for.
We have a drought.
They recycle. Water recycle.
That's
No,
probably
you
something
do
that
water.
goes with the sewer system.
Any case,
Yeah.
I don't want to, we're not getting it. I just wanted it.
Yeah.
Okay, that would be my only comment.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor,
Yes.
if I can just add something. I'm actually fixing the building up at 71845, and most of you all have seen that building. It was in a very bad condition. If somebody's looking for $40,000 to do the inside, trust me, I've done a lot of building, a lot of construction. Before you know what happened, $40,000 will just go in and paint. It's no use you doing the inside and your outside still looking terrible. When people drive into town, they want the first impression, and I hope that you extend this right up to Encilia. There's quite a few buildings. When the time people drive into town, they see the west side first before they see the east side. So please extend it as far as you can. Thank you.
So Keith, you were looking for this to be a future agenda item. Okay.
Yeah, this was a future agenda item request coming to the council, so all we got is serving it up today.
Okay. So I guess, so then in other words, you now we need you to come back and with some more specifics. Is that what we're looking for? Do you want more direction now?
We want more direction, yeah. So if you, by way of example, if you say, you want, from as far west as Encilia, by way of example, as Vino mentioned, to far, east as currently it ends at National Park Drive. Maybe you want to go as far as Utah Trail, I don't know. Maybe as far north on Amboy as Amboy. I mean, I don't know. So that's the direction we're looking for. Because we don't have the program rewritten, but the direction is what we're looking for.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I'll give you some that I think would be okay. Go from Encilia to Cienega. Go from Sullivan down to Homestead. Homestead all the way across, on the other side, and then other side of the plaza, because there are some there. And where else?
No, he got to go further than Homestead. I
No.
like Amboy.
Oh, way down there?
Yeah.
What do we have down there that would need it?
Ace Hardware, you got.
Oh, yeah.
the bank.
Cobb's Body Shop?
Okay.
Cobb's Body Shop.
Yeah, let's make go all the way to Adobe
Okay.
then, or Amboy.
Well,
Yeah.
can we possibly make it where, first come, first served?
What is?
What it is.
It is.
I mean, once we open it up.
It is.
It
is.
Once we open it up, it's first come, first served.
Yeah,
Okay.
once the money run out, it
Yeah,
runs out.
okay.
That's it.
There you go.
And they
Yes,
got a
ma'am.
match too, right?
And you'll fill me out a form?
Short and sweet.
Is Cienega on going east? Is that
It's
where
by
the
Circle
new,
K.
the new Circle K?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because my property, the thrift store, has always been left out of every planning that you guys have ever done.
That's why I
Yeah,
said
yeah.
Cienega.
So, okay, and so there's other buildings along there that could probably use the help, but they were also out of the area. What about a beautification project? Not just buildings, but beautifying the city. I saw a trash can the other day that had trash all over falling down the sides of it and everything. I mean, it was looking pretty bad. But could you maybe think about beautifying the city, not just the buildings, but doing something,
That's
something
possible,
else?
but I think the buildings is a good starting point.
Right.
But that's possible.
But there's other things that can be done. I don't know, flower pots or,
Sure.
or whatever. But there are other things
That's
that
a
can be
that's a
done.
great
Uh-huh.
subject for strategic planning, and you have
Yeah.
3 months to plan that, Mary Jane. Bring it back to us.
I've been to your planning before, and I'm still waiting for it to happen. So.
Oh, no, well, yeah.
Bring it back again.
Bring it back. We have done a lot of things at from those meetings, though.
All right.
And no inside. It has to be all outside.
Yeah, I'm kind of.
All
Yeah, I'm
outside.
thinking outside is the.
So I just want to make sure what I heard was Encilia, Cienega, Sullivan, and those are the 4 core ones.
Mhm.
That-
That's
And
it.
then all outside stuff.
Mhm.
Yep, just outside.
And again, us, the two council persons up here, we are not eligible for that money, so I don't want anybody going back thinking, oh, we extended these borders so we could apply for it. We cannot apply for it. It's against the law.
Okay,
Got it?
Okay, so staff has the rest.
all righty, thank you. Now, future council initiated items. Anybody want to add anything besides me? I would like for the entire policy, right? For vacation home rentals to come back to the council. I think there's some things that we need to look at again, possibly, and maybe do some tweaking, maybe do some changing, but I think it needs to come back to the council.
Well, I'll second that, Madam Mayor, as long as we give staff enough time and people in the city enough time to get us their concerns. I had a discussion with one member from the community, and I said, where were you the 7 months that we were doing this? And, you know, obviously.
Well,
No.
this has
Yeah.
really become a hot ticket item.
So yes, I would just suggest that we at least give staff and other people time to get us whatever information they want to give us, so when we do discuss this again, that it's done and we can have, you know, we're never going to make everybody happy,
No.
but at least if there are some things that we missed or we need to tweak, then I'm okay with it, as long as we have enough time to do this, not, you know, rush to it.
No rush. Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Yes, so Madam Mayor, if I may, one item, I guess I'm done.
You're done.
That was me. Oh, that was you. One item on the future agenda item list that I'd like to request to eliminate is the, where is it at here? Discussion of adding sidewalks and picnic tables in Veterans Park. And the reason is, as you know, we're working on the affordable housing project behind City Hall. And, you know, with that, there is the infill infrastructure grant, IIG grant it's called, and part of that is money for parks. And so we're planning not only for the parking lot and all the things associated with the affordable housing project, it can extend over into Veterans Park to improve. There needs to be a connection, and once that connection is made, then we can improve it. So if I could, you know, take that off now, because that will be coming forward in front of the council as part of the comprehensive affordable housing project.
You're the one that brought it up. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, so no one else with any other future council initiated items? Okay, then now we are on to public comments. This is the time for the public to address the city council on issues within the jurisdiction of the city council that are not on this agenda. All comments are to be directed to the city council and shall not consist of any personal attacks. Members of the public are expected to maintain a professional, courteous decorum during the comments. There is a time limitation of 3 minutes per person. If you haven't already done so, please fill out your name and address slips and give it to the city clerk. The city council is prohibited by state law from taking any action or discussing items not included on the printed agenda. Public comments are on specific agenda items will be deferred until consideration of that item on the agenda. And we have to, Mr. Singh?
Yeah, he was the business owner about the
Okay.
inside.
Cindy?
It's a long meeting. I have 2 things to say, just to be quick. One is, I really hope you don't take off the 500 VHR cap. I know that you're under a lot of pressure to do so. I'm sure, I do think there are things that need to be revisited in the ordinance, such as some kind of distinction between investment VHRs and primary residence VHRs. That distinction is important. It needs to be made. But until we build some housing in the city and actually get it built and not planned, I don't think you should remove that cap. Thing number 2, obviously you already know about it, but we do have these lovely 15% vouchers that Mike Usher has generally decided to donate, working with Desert Trumpet. 15% off your meal at after council meetings only, to sit around and chew the fat about what's happening at council. And the vouchers will always be sitting on this table. And you can pick them up after the meeting and come to Ground Squirrel and enjoy a meal and a beer.
Any other public comments?
I filled out a form, Madam Mayor. May I?
But for public comments.
Yes, I did.
You did for item 11,
But on the same form I filled out, if you can just check. Madam Mayor, council members, I hope I'm not standing in front of a venting podium, but in front of elected officials who will pay attention to what people like me bring to your notice. Today I'm going to talk about discrimination. Don't think it is not practiced in our city. It is worse. Yes, it's worse when a city employee practices it. I had to physically walk with my wife and my son into the city manager's office some time back and complain. If you lived and worked in the city for decades and did not face discrimination because of your preferred skin color, I'm happy for you, because it's not easy to face discrimination. When somebody brings it to your attention, I expect an answer like, I'm sorry you faced it. I was not aware of it. I'll be more vigilant in the future and make sure that's not the case moving forward. I don't expect an answer like, oh, it was only one person who is practicing it. One is not responsible for someone's actions, but when one supports it, you do become responsible. I have been a victim, and if any one of you want to hear my cases, not on one occasion, numerous occasions, give me a call. Please keep in mind, I'm a small businessman, invested my life savings in this community, and have been in this community close on to 25 years. I expect to be treated equally. On a positive side, the percentage of people that supports and do not care of my color or race or my ethnicity far outweighs the minority that practices discrimination in the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Last call for any public comments. City manager update.
I'll be brief. So just a couple things. So staff is working, again, multiple fronts on affordable housing, one of which is prototypes for some housing behind Project Phoenix, Freedom Plaza, where we're currently clearing out the land back there. So we'll have some prototypes that hopefully then we'll be able to facilitate some affordable housing. Again, we're working on this on multiple fronts. That's just one of them. I just got an update from the school district today. Unfortunately, their culinary program for this semester can't be launched yet. All their equipment just isn't in yet. Just as a reminder, the city provided the building, the school district purchased the equipment and installed it, and they're still waiting for some stuff. That most of it is installed, but unfortunately, this semester is. I talked to Ms. Woods actually earlier today, and she's got to change some schedules around for some students because it's just not ready yet. So next semester it'll be up and running. They're almost installed all the equipment, but it's just not in yet. So unfortunately, that is out there. The education, within the vacation home rental ordinance has launched. We do have one provider for that. A second provider will be the college, and a third provider will be an online service. So people will have multiple avenues to be able to access and accomplish the goals of, at least what's in the current ordinance in place. Pleased to announce the Neighborhood Safety Project. I think, what is today? Tuesday was last Thursday. We had a bid opening for that, and so that'll be coming to the council in October for approval. That is our neighborhood safety, so we'll be adding additional signage, striping, other safety apparatuses, within our neighborhoods, along with some paving within our neighborhoods. So that will be released October, I think 11th is our council meeting. The Safe Routes to School, though, however, came in over budget. The bids came in over budget. So we've gone back to Caltrans, to our local assistants, to request some additional funding. So we're waiting on that. That probably won't be, and that one, Safe Routes to School, is El Paseo and 2 Mile Road. So those are the, 2 Mile Road is from, Adobe to Utah. Then I don't know the coordinates. It's by Oasis is the on El Paseo, but I don't know the exact coordinates. But anyway, that will be, we're still working on it and bring it back to the council. And just finally, just to kind of keep talking about it, I know Mac, all of his JPA meetings, they launched the warning signals. So staff continues to work with Burtech on it's a state mandate. We keep hearing 1383, which is organics recycling, right? And it's not something that this body is promoting, but it's a state of California. But the ultimate effect of that will be a third trash can, will be organics, diversion, and it's transportation, which means higher Burtech rates, right? I mean, ultimately, that's what it means. Again, I know it's not this body who is proposing it. It's the state of California to relieve greenhouse gases from the landfill. So it'll go separate, it'll go to another location, which is transportation, i.e. cost. So anyway, we're working through that. That will be next year, 2023. I just wanted to give the council some update on that. And that concludes my comments.
Before you adjourn.
Oh, go ahead, Mac.
Just want to remind everybody that the Mayor Pro Tem golf fundraiser tournament will be December 3rd. So come on out.
Come out and watch the mayor not be able to hit a
Yeah,
golf
it's
ball.
it basically we use it to get toys so we can distribute to the
Yes.
community. So please come out and support. It's going to be at the golf course, Roadrunner Golf Course. All right, December 3rd.
Well, let me. We got the food drive is still going on for this month. We still have the box out here. Cindy wanted me to remind everybody. But Frank, I have the. Do you have anything on the Caltrans medium and on 29 Palms Highway? They got back to us.
Yeah. So Ken actually just informed me today that our permit from Caltrans should be issued tomorrow. Okay. So once it's issued tomorrow, then we can go out for bid. That is that medium island from Encilia to the service entrance to Stater Brothers. That's the extent of it. So that for that traffic safety in that corridor. But as I got news today that Caltrans is supposedly going to issue us the permit tomorrow.
Okay. What about O'Reilly's?
Yeah, so they're working on their flat work. Their building is done, so building and safety is improved everything there. So it's all their flat work. So it's nothing holding up from Caltrans. They have all their encroachment permits from Caltrans. It's just their contractors. I don't know if Keith, you heard anything from, yeah, it's all their contractors. I mean, it's nothing Caltrans, it's nothing the city.
No, an island there.
Oh, so the turnout?
No, the island in the middle.
Oh, there's no island.
There's gonna be no island?
No.
You got to be kidding me. So people can get into the left-hand turn to go into O'Reilly's right after the stop and go light.
Yeah, there's no medium island. So,
Wow, that ought to be interesting.
yeah, so as part of the,
But yet they wanna do that.
yeah, so as part of the, if you recall, I think it was in 2012 anyway, we had the Highway 62 improvement program. First step of that, we did the sidewalks from Encilia to Larea, I think we ended up. Now the second part is this short little strip of medium island, but the medium islands actually will go all the way, not today, granted, but will go all the way to Mesquite. So, but it's, you know, based on funding and acquiring that. But yeah, not today. So.
Be like a state roads thing, if we have things go on, we'll have to get required and we'll have to do something about it.
Frank, is there any news on the downtown part of the lane, or bringing the speed down? Or the downtown?
No, there's some additional striping that ultimately will go down there, and maybe even elimination some on-site parking, you know.
Two people almost get hit today.
I'm sorry?
Two more people almost got hit today, leaving, you know,
Crossing?
Yeah, it was really close.
Yeah, well, and Madam Mayor, just to address that, part of the downtown specific plan to calm the traffic was a roundabout right there at Split Rock.
Yeah.
So Split Rock ultimately has, you know, at least from the downtown specific plan, a roundabout proposed, which will slow people coming down from Donnell Hill, but that takes funding as well.
Also a reminder, this Saturday, October 1st is City Cleanup Day.
You stole my thunder.
Oh, you can do the other one. And it's from 8 to 12, and it is at Lucky Park behind the Joe Davis Community Services Building. You can bring anything except for the oil, the gas, blah, 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 blah. But appliances and everything like that, bring it on out. Bring the refrigerator.
Okay.
She's going to do that one, I think.
Yeah, I guess if I.
Well, you were
have
talking,
anything
that's why I wanted to
left,
get going, so we can leave.
Leave me a bone. I'm just kidding. Okay, anything else from anyone? And also, don't forget this weekend is Pioneer Day kickoff. I'll be there, so you be there. Yay! All right, so we're gonna close this in honor of Pioneer Day coming soon. Bino.
So I'm never gonna say
No.
And Cindy.
Ever.
I never,
No, I just never. I